All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-0, taking down the Los Angeles Chargers 20-10 this afternoon. It wasn't always pretty, but for the most part, they did exactly what they needed to do, specifically Justin Fields. He had that bad interception, but this defense, Justin Herbert ended up getting banged up. I hope he's all right. We never want to root for injuries, but it didn't really matter. Like it just really genuinely did not matter. They did not have anything going outside of their first touchdown in the first quarter. The Steelers defense was all over the place, and they were getting sacks. Herbig, Watt, Roberts, Hayward. I mean, you really name it. This defense, they're like, I'm so hesitant to make takes like this, but I just, through 3 games of this season, I think they're the best defense in the NFL. I will just say, off the top of my head, Minnesota's defense looks phenomenal. Seattle looks good as well, but like this Steelers defense, they got better than last year, which should be a terrifying thought in the NFL. Like it just should be a terrifying thought. And TJ Watt, Joe ended up getting injured towards the end of the game as well. Hope he comes back healthy once again. Don't want to root for injuries, but like he didn't stand a chance at any point in that football game. He really didn't. And I get it. Justin Fields, I think, is a starting caliber quarterback like you've seen here, 3-0, leading Pittsburgh to a 3-0 start to the season. But like, it's a backup quarterback. Russell Wilson was named the starter from Mike Tomlin before the season. And like for a backup quarterback to lead your team 3-0, it just is so impressive. It just really is. And maybe we'll have to talk if it ever comes up, if Russ ever ends up getting healthy, but let's just enjoy this win. Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We post like 3 or 4 Steelers videos every single week. If we can try and get this one actually to 300 likes for the 3-0 start, that would mean the world to me. Off the top of my head, I think the Chargers had 10 yards of offense in the second half. I hope that number ended up being true, but for most of the fourth quarter, the Chargers had 10 total yards of second half offense. All in all, Pittsburgh dominated the time of possession, especially in the second half. Technically losing 10-7, losing at home to this Chargers team. They've got a really feisty, hungry defense. Bosa ends up getting banged up early on in the game. He ends up missing the game. So the Chargers dealt with a multitude of different injuries, but look at the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. It's just the state of, dudes hitting dudes, grown men hitting grown men. Guys are going to get injured. And you look at this Steelers offensive line, and for the most part, I think they held up. There were, Fields only ended up getting sacked twice technically, but it wasn't great, and it's just a decimated offensive line right now. So hopefully Troy Fautanu gets healthy. Saw that injury yesterday afternoon. It sucks, but 34-26 in the possession battle, 20 first downs compared to the Chargers 10, 7-14 on third down. They had 346 yards of total offense. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch from Calvin Austin for that 55-yard touchdown towards the end of the game. And they held the Chargers to 168 yards of offense. They held them actually running the ball to just 61 yards. J.K. Dobbins has made a name for himself. Glad to see him back in the NFL, or healthy, I should say, on a team. They held it, J.K. Dobbins. They held the whole Chargers. It's been their bread and butter. They are, I believe, heading into this football game, the second best rushing team in the NFL, right behind the Green Bay Packers. I think they are averaging 197.5 yards per game running the football. This afternoon, only 61. But before we get into this defense, I got to talk about Justin Fields because he did a phenomenal job. 25 of 32, 245 yards, a touchdown. He had a touchdown rush as well. He only ran the ball 6 times, which was interesting for 6 total yards and that rushing touchdown. But who really gives a rat's, man? I mean, Justin had a phenomenal game. The Steelers did have some issues running the football in the first half, but I think Najee Harris, like we always say, gets better in the course of the game. He gets better in the course of the season. He finished 18-70, including that 21-yard long, averaging 3.9 yards per carry. We saw Cordell Patterson finally getting more running opportunities. He finished with 4 carries for 33 yards. We only saw 3 carries from Jaylen Warren. I would love to see more Jaylen, whether it's receiving or running, just in general moving forward, but we'll take this win. All in all, the Steelers ran the ball 31 times for 114 yards and that rushing touchdown from Justin Fields, averaging 3.7 yards per carry. But I know Bosa missed the game or most of the pretty much all of the game. That Chargers defense, man, they've been doing one heck of a job. So moving to the receiving game, Calvin Austin the third finally. I feel like we've been saying this. We said this every game last year. They implemented Calvin Austin in like the first 4 to 6 weeks of last year's offense, and then pretty much for the rest of the season, he was an afterthought. 55-yard touchdown. It was a catch and run. It was absolutely beautiful. Great throw from Justin Fields, and Calvin Austin did the rest. With that speed, you're definitely not catching him. 4 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown for Mr. Calvin Austin. George Pickens did his thing, coming down with huge, crazy catches, as he always do. 5 catches, 57 yards. Love to see Pat Freiermuth get involved as well. 4 catches for 33 yards. Najee, 5 catches, 16. Scotty Miller, 2 huge catches for 31 yards combined. It was very big. This was like the best Justin Fields played in the passing department, in my opinion, through the first 3 games of the season. But we got to talk about this defense, man. The Chargers had nothing going. You look at the sack count, 5 total sacks. Cam Hayward with a sack, Landon Roberts with a sack, Nate Herbig emerging as a hidden gem that only Steelers fans, I feel like, really like know him, which is crazy because he's had one heck of a season, and he had 2 total sacks. He had a forced fumble. He's coming off a phenomenal preseason, if I'm not mistaken, as well. He was huge. TJ Watt, technically on the stat sheet, only 1 sack, but he was there every single play. Like, if you didn't watch this game, no matter if it was Taylor Heineke or Justin Herbert in the second half, there was no time. Like, it feels like they would snap the ball, and 3 seconds later, there would be 3 Steelers players in their face. And once again, the Chargers' run game's been their bread and butter. The Chargers' offensive line under Harbaugh has been their bread and butter, and they just stood no chance at any point in this football game. We take a look at the Chargers stats: 12 of 18 for Herbert, 125 yards and a touchdown. They really only had one good drive in the first quarter that resulted in that touchdown to Quentin Johnston. J.K. Dobbins, 15 of 44. Shout out to J.K. because I was playing you in fantasy football. 15 carries for 44 yards, averaging 2.9 yards per carry. The Steelers' defense held the Chargers 20 rushes to just 61 yards, averaging 3.1 yards per carry. I don't care who's the quarterback. Like, I really don't care. Justin Fields has done a phenomenal job. Russell Wilson could be the QB. It just genuinely doesn't matter. If you can keep it clean, move the chains, and put points on the board, this defense, they're going to stifle everybody. They're going to shut down every offense they play. So that's really all I got for today's Steelers victory rant. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Obviously, there's a ton more that we got to dissolve. So stay tuned for Steelers video tomorrow or Tuesday. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Let's try and get it up to 300. And give me your player of the game or any thoughts you have down below. Peace.